The other night, I experienced anxiety in a way that I have not for such a long time. I used to, however. I used to experience a lot of anxiety. I've shared previously on my podcast that when I was younger, I would lay in bed at night for hours thinking about all of the things that I had done throughout that day that weren't good enough, that I could have done better. Who could I have been misunderstood by? And something that I think is important to share is that I've always been a very good person, as in my intent has always been good. It's one of the things that I'm the most proud of myself for, that I have a good heart and I always want the best for everyone. And as I'm getting older and working on my self-worth and loving myself to the fullest, I can see that more. But back when I was younger, in my later teens, I was very, very hard on myself. And I was such a people pleaser and I wanted everyone to like me. And if they didn't, or if I thought that I had done just the tiniest little bit thing wrong, I would feel so anxious. And in today's podcast episode, I'll share with you what actually happened the other night, why I was feeling this way, but also what I did to shift instantly, as well as 18 other little tips that potentially speaks to you that you can apply if you ever find yourself feeling anxious, because these tips and tools can really, really, really be helpful. And it's the tools that have helped me go from being a very anxious human, feeling unworthy, not good enough, to now when I experienced this little anxiety session the other night, could look at it from above and be like, wow, I've come so far, because this is not something I experience anymore, at least not to this degree. And when I do, I apply the tools that I want to share with you today to get on the other side and to feel good again, because we all deserve to feel good. And oftentimes, as in 99.9% of the time that we are anxious or worried or fearful, the thing that we're scared of is made up in our minds. And when we apply these tools, we'll be able to see that and shift our state. So to give you a little context, the 3 days before, like every day for me is a good day because I make it good every day. No matter what challenges come up, I have practiced the skill of turning anything unfortunate into either a learning lesson, shift it into something positive because I can grow from it, or something that's helping me become more resilient, or just simply trusting that anything that comes my way is for me. So for me, every day really is a good day. But 3 days prior to this little anxiety situation had been like above and beyond good, like heavenly. I feel on top of the world. I feel incredible. Never let this change. My life is so great. That's how it's feeling. And then after 3 days like that, where I'd really been on the go, I'd been, putting a lot of effort into different projects, working out hard, being very social, doing a lot of things. It felt amazing. But on day 4, when it hit like 5 p.m., I'd just finished my workout and I wanted to finish my cardio after my workout. And I started to feel, okay, Pernilla, you are starting to be tired now. Like you need to finish this cardio, get a ton of good food, and just see if you can spend the rest of the night relaxing, because you are now getting to the point where you need a little bit of relaxing time. I can sometimes very much go from morning to night without too much relaxation, and just simply have the reading before I go to bed be the only time that I take off, which can be anything from 1 page to an hour of reading. It's actually been a while since it's been a full hour of reading, but I just make sure to read a little bit every night before I go to bed. And so after my workout, I get some incredible food, and I was starving. I was extra hungry on that day. That tends to happen when I've been going. When I come home, I'm tired. I go to bed at my normal time. And then I remembered that on that day I had messaged a person who did a lot for me, as in gave me some opportunities when I was younger. And I'd reached out to them just saying thank you. I've mentioned on my podcast before that I sometimes will reach out to people who had played a role in my past that I feel grateful for, just to thank them for what they'd done. And when it hit nighttime, I could see that that person had seen the message and not responded. And then I looked and could see that I had responded to that person's stories a couple of times with no response. And then my brain started going down the rabbit hole of, oh no, what has happened? Does this person have something against me now? Has there been stories going around about me in Denmark now that aren't true? My mind went to the craziest places of what could have happened? Because we've always had such a great relationship, and I just didn't know why they hadn't responded when they had seen it, and they hadn't responded to all these story reactions that I had made on whenever they posted something. And so my brain really just started going down a rabbit hole of all these things that could have caused this person to dislike me now. And yes, I hear it. I hear my nonsense, but I bet some of you out there have been in a situation like that before as well. And I just felt that fearful thought led to other fearful thoughts. And it was really crazy to me because that is very unlike me. It's not something I do anymore. It's something I did in the past, but it's not something I do anymore. And as my brain was going in circles and finding more fearful thoughts, I caught myself and I was like, okay, Pernilla, let's focus on something else. And the thing I did in that moment was, first of all, I took the thought and looked at it out above and asked myself, what's the worst thing that can happen from this situation? I reminded myself of who I am, who I know I am. And I know I'm a good human. I know I am a person who lives out of integrity. What I say, I do. And I reminded myself of that and that I was good enough. And then I put on a visualization meditation, a meditation that I knew was going to guide me through this journey of my future life, which is something that I've done a lot, which I actually have a future visualization meditation as well in one of my podcasts. We'll link it in the description below. It wasn't that one that I did, but this future version of you visualization, if you want to give it a go, it's at the end of that episode. If you ever want to give it a try, it's a visualization that I did with my community members inside of my challenges, which if you're new to this podcast, I run challenges every month and we have the most beautiful community where we jump on calls every week. And we do different exercises every week. We also just chat about anything and everything they're going through, any questions they have that they want to solve within their fitness journey or just their mental health and feel better. And this was one of the exercises that I did. You can join one of my challenges as well if you'd like, or my community. I'll put the link in the description below for you to do that as well. We talk about things like this as well, where it's, if someone's going through anxiety or binge eating or not knowing how they can build more muscle and lose fat. Like we talk about anything and everything in there. However, when I was feeling this anxious, I reminded myself of those things and then I put on the meditation. And then the next morning, I could really see it from above. I was journaling on it and I could see how I could see it from above. And then I also told my mom about it. We talk on the phone pretty frequently and I was sharing it with her. And then something she also reminded me was that this person that hadn't responded to me is a person that has this thing of breaking a lot of relationships. It's been a part of their journey of like building business relationships and then them splitting up because the person doesn't always act in integrity. And she just reminded me that there could be something that isn't for me to worry about that's going on their side. And I still don't know, like maybe they'll reply to me in 5 minutes and it's all great. Like this is the thing. It's not really about them. If I had felt this 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have wanted to make it up. I would have wanted to people please my way back into making sure that they like me. Today, I can look at this situation and know that I am who I am. I know that I've never done anything towards this person, nor something that I couldn't share proudly. Obviously, I've made mistakes, but you get what I mean. I act out of integrity. But I don't know what's going on their side, but it's not for me to worry about. It's not my battle. We can't try to control other people's emotions. We can't try to control how other people feel about us. The only thing that we can control is our actions. And of course, if this was someone that's close to me, like if I ever am in a relationship where there's something unsaid, I always bring it up so that we can clear the air. But if it's someone that isn't in my life, for instance, when I share on social media, I can share all of the most positive content as I like, but I never am in control of how it's received by the viewer. I receive so much love and support from you guys, which I'm so grateful for. I just uploaded my first YouTube video in a very long time, and the feedback and you guys' comments was just so heartwarming, and it made me want to continuously start creating again in a different way. I've learned so much, and it was great that I took a break from YouTube. And I'm so grateful for all of you who do see the benefits or the value that in the things I share. But all I can do is do my best, put things out there that I think will be helpful, create from a place of love, of wanting to serve, but I am never in control of how it's received. Yes, I can learn from the feedback, right? But for every time there's 9 nice comments, there's most likely going to be one that isn't nice or doesn't like me. And I'm not in control of that. All of that to say, if you feel anxious about someone who maybe isn't even close to you, having something against you, let it go. Detach your emotional state from their emotional state, right? They are perceiving you from their worldview. And yes, again, we can learn from it. If I hear a lot of the same comments or even just one comment that says something negative, I can always ask myself, is there something about this? Is there something that I can change in order for my message to come across in a more positive way, in a way that serves more, in a way that isn't harmful? Absolutely, I can learn from the negative feedback. And I have for the past many, many years. And I will continue to do that because I will continue to make mistakes. But their emotional charge, we are not in charge of. I did say that there were 18 different little techniques, tools that I wanted to just share with you today so that you can hopefully find one of these that could help you if you ever feel anxious or nervous or fearful in a situation. These tools can even help with if you tend to gravitate towards food, if you're feeling emotional or stressed, alcohol or drugs, whatever it is that your coping mechanism is. I believe that these tools can help you reconnect with yourself and reconnect with your truth. And the first one that I want to share with you is one that you probably have heard before. It's called box breathing, where you breathe in for 4, then you hold for 4, and then you breathe out for 4. This slows down your heart rate and it calms your nervous system. And if you take just 10 breaths like that, I promise you will feel just a little bit better. The second thing that you can do is cold exposure. Not when I've been feeling anxious, but it just always makes me feel so incredible taking a cold something. I've shared a lot on my Instagram about my cold plunges. I've shared how I sometimes will run into the ocean even when it's cold out. You can even take a cold shower. You can splash some cold water in your face. But what that will do is have an instant just shift in your body. I looked it up on Google, another reason why it can help specifically with anxiety. And what Google shared was that it activates the vagus nerve, signaling to your body that you are safe and helping to reduce anxiety quickly. Now, the third thing that I must share with you that I use daily, even obviously when I'm not anxious, but it does make me feel different every single day, is exercise and movement. You know that if you feel anxious or you feel low, moving your body is going to instantly shift your vibration, your experience of that day. It will reduce your stress hormone and increase the release of endorphins. By the way, if you are liking the shirt that I'm wearing, it's Gymshark's new soft, silky release. Like, it's so freaking soft, and I feel like a ballerina, gym girly baddie is what I was about to say, but I feel like that's not right. It's just really soft and I love it. I love wearing it. If you're not watching this on YouTube or Spotify, then you can't see it, but just trust me, it's a nice shirt. I'm also wearing the sports bra underneath. It's like a set. They have pants with it as well. And you can use my code Pernilla to get 20% off because I have a code with Gymshark, which I'm very, very grateful for. And they send me clothes every month. And every month is very exciting. However, what I was about to say is that I have been doing these sprints at the gym. When it's not leg day, when it's not dance day, I actually tend to do legs and dance at the same day just because it feels better. And then I'll have the 2 days of recovery before the next leg day, where if I do leg day, the next day I do dance, then it's as if like my legs have a harder time recovering. However, if I'm not dancing leg day, and sometimes I will need like a rest day where my legs actually get to recover. That happens when I really feel like I need it. If it's not one of those days, I will do a sprint. And I've actually changed it up a little bit lately to sometimes doing them longer, sometimes doing shorter sprints, but faster sprints. Actually, my treadmill can't go faster than what I'm doing right now. So what I've started doing is increase the incline so that I'm running a little bit uphill at the fastest speed, but I'll do it in intervals. And what I tell myself if I'm feeling low and I have, let's say, an upper body day, and I have been sitting down working at my computer for many, many hours, and I'm not really feeling ready to move my body, I'll actually start off with that. Just let's say 10 minutes. Sometimes it's longer, but let's just say 10 minutes. I really only need 10 minutes to completely shift my energy, my mindset, my everything shifts in those 10 minutes of interval training. So if you ever have a day where you feel anxious, trust me, just 10 minutes of that will instantly shift your day around. And here is the thing. You can hear that and you can even know that. But when you're in the midst of feeling anxious or low or whatever it is that you're feeling, you have to actually take action and do it. And the question is, are you going to do it, or are you going to allow yourself to feel stuck in the anxiety, in the stuckness, in the lowness? And what I've been practicing getting very, very good at is always just choosing hard. Always just choose hard. As in, just choose hard. Because when you say it that way, it actually isn't that hard. It's just 10 minutes. It's just 10 minutes. It's just 10 minutes. So when you're in the midst of feeling all of these experiences, all of these negative feelings, just tell yourself it's just 10 minutes. Just choose hard. Because my mission is, by making these podcast episodes and everything that I post online, is to help everyone understand that what we see is so hard and challenging actually isn't. It's actually not that hard. It's actually pretty simple. And this whole idea is what I'm writing about in my book. I haven't come that far because there's been many different changes in both the structure of the book, but also my messaging. And I'm really honing in on the key messaging also so that it completely differentiates itself from other self-help books. I really want to help you shift this thought that it's hard to get out of, because it actually isn't. It's a mindset shift. And once your mindset shifts, you can just take action. You can just go do 10 minutes of hard. Your whole energy shifts. Now, the fourth little tip that I want to share with you is the visualization technique that I used the other night when I was feeling anxious. And you can use my meditations and visualizations, which I have so many of on my app. If you become a member, you can try all of my meditations and visualizations, or you can literally just go on YouTube and search visualization meditation and choose whichever one feels good. You can also just simply close your eyes and think of where you are 5 years from today, how you're going to feel, what you're going to be doing throughout the day, how loving all of the beautiful humans that you have in your life are, how much your daily activities excite you and energize you. Think of all of these beautiful things that you have to come in your future. The fifth little trick is journaling brain dump. I do this a lot. Whatever you're fearful of, whatever you're excited about, anything that comes to you, just write it down. There's something about putting all the stressful thoughts that you have in your brain, putting them on paper. Because then they're gone. They're out of your body. They're on a paper. And when you see it from above, rather than it rushing around in your head, you can suddenly have a much better overview of it. And it doesn't feel as hard as something we need to worry as much about as we maybe thought. I think I have 5 journaling challenges inside of my community. If you feel like you want to try a 30-day journaling challenge, then there's plenty to choose from. But again, you can also, search on Google to find a journaling challenge that feels like it resonates with you, or simply just brain dump. If you don't want any prompts, you just want let it out. The 6th little tip is to tell yourself affirmations. I am safe. I am worthy. I am good enough. I am a badass athlete. If you don't want to work out, that has nothing to do with anxiety. But just whatever it is that you're aiming towards becoming, repeat it to yourself again and again and again. Have it as a screensaver, have it as a post note around your house. Just repeat that one affirmation and watch the anxiety little by little dissipate. And with that, I want to share the 6th tip, which I would say you should combine with the affirmations, is shaking it off. It's a natural animal instinct. When an animal has gone through something traumatic, they literally will just stand up and shake it off. And we humans can use that as well. We can get up and then for 30 to 60 minutes, literally just shake it off. It will completely release the tension and leave you feeling in a completely different state. Just try it out. Give it a go. And you can also put on an incredible song, which actually is one of my other points, which is just put on a good song, sing along, shake it out. Those are 2 different, the shaking it out and the singing along. But, the more we apply, the better it's going to work. The 8th is one that I am not too familiar with, but I know that many people have used it to heal self-limiting beliefs and traumatic experiences. And they just share that it's incredibly powerful. I've tried it a couple of times through just following like along on someone else's guidance, but it's not something I've used too much, but I did want to put it in here in case it's something that you feel called to try, and it's called tapping. It's like they tap at different points of your face. If you can't see me, then I'm tapping my face while they repeat these calming phrases, and it's supposed to calm your nervous system and reduce stress signals. So maybe it's something you would want to look up on YouTube. The ninth is simply just putting everything down and going for a walk. Get some sunlight in, get some fresh air. You and I both know it's going to help tremendously if you do so. The 10th is alternate nasal breathing. It's where you put your finger on one nasal, what's that called? Hole in your nose. I'm a great explainer of this. And then you breathe in, and then you put your fingers holding the other nose hole. That's not what it's called. But then you breathe out, and then you switch, going back and forth. And it's supposed to balance your left and right brain hemispheres. I've done it a couple of times, and it actually does make me feel just at peace, really. Something my dad taught me when I was a kid and I couldn't fall asleep was this body scan. He would sometimes guide me through it, and other times I would try to do it myself. He actually said, a cup of milk and a body scan. He really believes that a cup of milk can help you fall asleep, which there are old sayings, especially from the Viking era. Like, I'm from Denmark, so we were Vikings, and that's like what they did apparently, like drink milk before going to bed because it's supposed to calm something within you and help you better fall asleep and stay asleep. But the body scan is basically where you lay in bed on your back, straight, arms by your side, and then you scan every single part of your body. Like, what I will do personally is I'll breathe in and think about my forehead, and then I'll breathe out, and then I'll think of a little lower on my forehead, and then I'll get to my eyebrows, my eyes, my nose, my mouth, my chin, and go through my entire body. And before you know it, you're asleep. Sometimes I'll like start thinking of something else, and then I'll have to restart. If I then restart and I try again, typically I'll end up actually falling asleep. And you can obviously do this whether you're trying to fall asleep or if you just need a little midday relaxation exercise. Number 13 is laugh or smile. I have done this so many times. I feel a little low, I put a smile on my face. Like, it's powerful. I mean, science shows that it works. And something that I just have to share as well is go out and be social. I'll have like a little lower energy after sitting and working, and then I'll go into my new gym. And because now I know a lot of people there, I'll have one conversation after the other, and instantly I will feel so freaking good. Like, when I say conversations, it's like just like a couple of sentences. It is wild how energizing that is. I think what it also has to do with, obviously it's nice to chat and see humans, but I think what it also has to do with is like I smile a lot when I talk because I'm genuinely happy to see people. I'm genuinely happy to speak to people. And I think the fact that my whole body shifts and like gets excited and I'm smiling and potentially laughing as well, I think that in itself is enough for me to completely shift my energy. I mean, Tony Robbins talks about this a lot, right? It's like, if you change your physical state, if you change how you're standing, like if you were bent over before and you suddenly stand up tall, or you go to the power pose, like your physical body's movements are going to change how you feel mentally. It's just how it is. And it's powerful and it's beautiful. So maybe you just need to remind yourself of that and snap yourself out of it. You don't deserve to stay in this anxious state. You can worry about that when you get old. You're young and you're fresh and you got to live life to the fullest. And you got to sometimes, I think, just not take life so seriously. I think oftentimes, sorry, I'm going out of my different ideas now, but I think this is important. I think sometimes we tend to make little things seem like such big issues when really it's not. You know, okay, yes, I had to send certain things to my tax accountant today, and oh my goodness, I forgot, and I could worry about that because now I'm a bad person because I told them I was going to do it, but now I didn't get to do it. I could spend my day worrying about that, spend my afternoon being like, oh shoot, that is not good, blah, 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 blah. Or I could be like, I think we're all going to survive. I'm going to write him that I really am so sorry. Is it okay with you if I send it tomorrow? Take action. Release. Literally as simple as that. I know there's bigger issues in this world than not sending your tax papers to your accountant. But for me, it's like I like to keep promises that I make to myself and like to others as well. So if I don't do that, then, I can worry. But it's like, oh my gosh, Pernilla, it's not that big of a deal. And I know that it's not but this is just to give you a little example of how we can tend to make small things big problems. And if we stop taking life so seriously, sometimes we can shake it off, we can sing a song, and we can let it go. Which the 14th point was to put on a good song and sing along. And the 15th is create a worry window. You set a timer for 5 minutes, you grab a journal, and you write down all of the things that you're worried about. It kind of is similar to the brain dump, but this is just focusing on all of your worries so that you can put it out on paper, release it. And again, when you see it from above, it's not as bad as we thought it was when it was just rumoring around in our brains. 16 is essential oils. It's something I've dabbled with a little bit in the past. I don't do it too much anymore, but I have a lot of friends who do it. My mom does it. And potentially it could be fun for you to give a try as well. Get some essential oils that will help you with the areas that you want help with. Number 17 is talk to yourself as though you are your own best friend. I've talked a lot about how I like to be my own best coach on here, and I really do. When I catch myself, let's just say anxious, because that's what the topic of this podcast episode is about, I can talk to myself as if I was my own best friend or my own coach. Like, because I'm a coach, I like to do the coach thing because I'm getting better. Like, I really believe that I can help any of my clients with the issue that they are struggling with. As in, typically a person who you are coaching, they have the answers within. And so I am so confident in my coaching skills that I can help coach someone to get those answers that they actually have from within. Of course, sometimes you have to guide them to get there, but I'm really confident in that. And so if I can do that with every other person, then I am able to do it with myself as well, right? Sometimes for me, it helps like writing down the questions or even just like saying it in my head and then coming to the conclusion. And for you, what would you ask your best friend? How would you coach them through this challenging situation that you're in? And the 18th is call a friend, call a parent, call a grandparent, call a sibling, call someone who you can just talk to. Like I mentioned earlier, it's wild how much human energy and interactions can help us with. And one little conversation can really help. But also, if we are feeling anxious about something, someone else's perspective can be super, super, super helpful. When I'm in the midst of navigating something, sometimes just calling my mom or calling a friend or calling my dad, it can really help me shift my whole perspective. And I often will realize that, oh, wow, it was actually just that simple. I've gotten good at doing it myself, as in I've done it myself for many, many years since I moved to the States. But what I've also realized, I would say over the past year, is how helpful it is to sometimes reach out. Even though I am a strong, independent woman and I can figure out everything myself, feeling that support from the people who are around me is something I very much value and appreciate. So maybe you're someone as well who is like me, who can do anything and everything herself. Maybe sometimes it can be good to not solely rely on yourself, but actually seek that help or guidance that someone close to you could help you with, because you do not deserve to feel low. You do not deserve to feel anxious. However, if you do, remind yourself that this is the most incredible opportunity for you to grow, because once you've overcome it, which I feel I have, I just happened to experience this instance the other night. And I think as humans, we'll never heal anything fully and completely. I think there's always spectrums in which we have emotions, right? Like we can have gotten 70% better at it, but there's still like 30% to go or whatever. It's never like a imperfect perfect. If you listen to my previous episode, you know that I think there's no such thing as perfection. But these negative emotions that we experience, if we view it as learning lessons, as emotions that can really help us become better, not only will we experience this drastic life change, but also we'll be able to help others, guide them through their hardships. And I believe that our biggest struggles in life are really our greatest gifts to the world, because when we heal it, we can help others heal it as well. Just like how I would say I've mastered, I'm still continuously learning and trying to grow and get better. And I always have more goals that I want to aim for. But I feel like I've gotten very, very good at knowing exactly what someone needs to do to take control of their life, whether it come to their wanting a certain fitness goal or just life goals. And if you're someone who feels called to join my next April Transformation Challenge, we're starting that very soon. And I would love, love, love to be your coach and chat with you every week and every day inside of our community. I respond to every single question. I help people with macros and any challenges that they're dealing with. We go through during the calls and daily in the group community chat where, oh my goodness, everything from I want to get in the best shape of my life to I want to take control of my life and feel good and learn to love myself and keep the promises that I make to myself and overcome anxiety. Those are the types of things that we work through. And the people who have been in there with me for over a year now, watching their growth as humans and also creating their dream bodies and going from doing 0 pull-ups to now being able to do a ton of pull-ups and lifting heavy in their squats, all of it. It's so incredible to witness. And I'm so grateful for the friendships that I've gotten to create from there. One of our community members, she lives in Italy and she flew to LA. So I got to meet her the other day, which was just so cool. And she's one of the people who has just grown so much, both within her physical goals, but also she used to go to bed so late and get up so late. And now she's developed a sleep schedule that helps her feel more energized, her eating habits, and just a bunch of different things. And so it was just so beautiful getting to see her in person. And those are the types of relationships we build inside of this community. And every day when we feel low, when we have low moments, we go into the group and we see everyone else's support. Maybe we even write how we're experiencing our day, our week when we're going through challenges, and everyone in there just helps bring us up and support us so that we can move forward and move through these challenges that life comes with. So I'll put a link below if you feel the urge to join either the April Transformation Challenge, or if you're listening to this at a later time, I'll make sure that the upcoming challenges are linked below. If you join the membership, you will have access to all of the upcoming challenges, which I'm very excited about. I'm so grateful that you were willing to listen to my ramble today. And I hope that one of the tools that I shared today could potentially be useful next time you find yourself feeling either anxious or low, because there is a way out. You don't have to stay there. You don't deserve to stay there. You deserve to shift. Thank you so much for listening today. If you want to make sure to not miss any of our future conversations on here, I hope you're willing to subscribe. And if you have a friend who's been dealing with anxiety, hopefully you're willing to share this with them. I love when my friends share podcast episodes with me because it feels very thoughtful of someone to share with me, but also then I know it's something that I most likely can benefit from. I hope you go out there and have a beautiful day. And remember, as always, in order for you to grow, you have to challenge your norm. Bye.